This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library.
Enough, you can get the Truefire All Access Pass for as cheap as they ever do it, the $99 thing. So just jump and do that if you're looking for the best price you can get Truefire All Access for.
I saw an article where Steve Rothery from Marillion was talking about how basically he spent all his royalties on pedals. And I can relate to that because I've been a little bit of a pedal fiend myself for years, and you know, probably if you're familiar with the channel in any regard, that I use modeling stuff more than anything else anyway. So this is like a little bit of a gear purge video, I guess. If you're looking for any of these pedals and you're in the UK or somewhere in Europe, probably UK is probably best in it, because sending stuff over to the US is a little bit tricky sometimes. My buddy Chris ended up with like $1,000 bill for something silly. I don't think he had to pay it though. But anyway, so if you've been looking at any of these specific pedals in this video, then maybe shoot me an email, send me a price that you're wanting to pay for it, and I'll get back to you. But in any case, I think the main thing for me, so in this intro bit, I ended up using the Simble overdrive to start off with. Then I switched over to a Boss Blues driver, super affordable, well not super affordable, but affordable relative to some other things. Then I switched over to the Fuchs Valve Job, so Andy Fuchs actually sent me over a few pedals, and that's one of the ones that I've tried. It's great. If you want it, let me know. Then I switched over to, Lowell sent me this, which is the Tube Driver. Sounds great, and I think maybe the most different out of all of these things. And then I switched over to this, which might be one of my favourite pedals of the year, if it was this year. I think it was this year. The Origin Effects Deluxe 55 Tweed Recreation. And I think the real point of all of this is, like, how different did any of that actually sound? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But I guess that's the point for me, is that my pedal collection is mostly centered around drive pedals. For some reason, I'm particularly susceptible to this idea that you're going to sound significantly different through a drive pedal if it's a different color, I guess. But anyway, so these are probably keepers. Maybe that Fuchs Valve Job, if you're looking for one of them, then let me know. The blues driver, my music tech teacher from decades ago, sent me this one to check out. It's a great pedal, but I think maybe everyone should have a blues driver, and I'm not selling that because it's my favourite pedal of the year. And the Simble sounds great too, and even Robin Ford agrees. He's got one on his board at the moment. So in the having a silly goose time, I actually got a Centaur overdrive. I got one of these that I bought specifically to see if it was the Centaur or the Zentara. So if anyone out there is looking for a Behringer Centaur overdrive, I've got a spare one of them that is going begging, if you want. I felt like I should buy one of them because I was into that story, and I guess I ended up becoming part of the story. I ended up buying a Dark Matter Distortion, TC Electronics. This is a little bit of an underrated pedal out there, but if you're looking for one of those, I got one of those. I'm not going to ever use it again probably, so all of this stuff is in boxes. I've got a Shin's Music Dumbloid here, which I bought from Taunton on the day that I met Tom Quayle and David Beebe in Taunton. I was just walking past a little music shop, and you don't see music shops of this sort that much anymore. But I'm not going to use this pedal. To me, it was, I think, the most actually dumbly thing that I've found, which is that borderline fuzz, like bold mid-heavy drive thing. But for me, you know, I'm not going to use this thing going forward. It's got 2 channels. There's a video on it, but yeah, actually quite close to the feel of my buddy Chris's 2-Rock TS1, and yeah, I thought it was an interesting pedal, interesting looking, relic and that. But yes, quite a hefty price tag on these if you buy them new. But yeah, if anyone wants that. Particularly susceptible I am, and I know some of you guys are too, because we've talked about it in emails and stuff, but to the Dumble thing. Now, I've actually got 2 of these J-Rocket dudes. Now, I think these are about my favourite drive pedal, but if someone is out there looking for one, I've got a couple. So I think this is Mark 1 and this is Mark Wahlberg. But yeah, the dude, I've got a few of them. If anyone's looking for a dude, I don't need all of them. I've got an HRM on my board, and yeah, so definitely I've got a spare dude here if anyone's looking for one. As I say, this is one of my favourite drive pedals. I think this is, if I only ever had one drive pedal to use, it'd probably be the dude or the HRM. Like, they're pretty similar pedals. Here I have a J-Rocket Archer. Now, great pedal. This is the Jeff Beck one, I think. JB Archer. If anyone's looking for that. I don't use a clon generally, so if anyone, you know, check that out if you want. J-Rock. Getting away from the drive pedals for a second, I demoed the Crazy Tube Circuits Mirage. This is the Junior. I thought it had a really, really good sounding spring reverb on there, as well as all the other stuff. I'm not going to be using it going forward because my HX Stomp or my modelers tend to handle my reverbs and delays. But if you're looking for one of them, shoot me an email. I demoed this, the Walrus Audio Xero looper. So if any of you guys are looking for one of those, it's like a stereo loopy thing, panning, does some really cool stuff. Check out my demo on it. But, you know, I don't need every single pedal out again. So if there is someone who looks at that and thought that's actually exactly what I've been looking for in a loop pedal, then shoot me an email. Oh, that's another thing actually. Because I know some of you guys are into looping and drum machine stuff. Beat Buddy 2, I did a demo of this. A really, really well built piece of kit. Maybe I should get it out. And the pedal. Where is he? So I demoed this, but as you will be well aware, my looping stuff that I do at home, I just program drums in after the fact. So I don't have an extensive need for something like this. But if you're looking for the Beat Buddy 2 and you're looking for a good price, shoot me an email. I've also got like the main foot switch for it. So if you saw the demo for that, or if you've been looking at one of those for a while, then now is your opportunity. Something for the kids for Christmas or something, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know. I think I need a bit of a clear out because, well, you know how it is. Spring cleaning before spring comes. Actually, I've got these Gamechanger pedals that, if anyone is looking for any of these, so I've got the Plus pedal, which is an amazing sort of freeze pedal that is super good for like practicing stuff, or you know, like the EXX Freeze, but with a way more solid sort of build. If anyone is specifically looking for that, I'd be open to you guys checking that out, but I'm not desperate to sell it. And then on the other hand, I've got this Bixby pitch pedal thing, which is quite an interesting piece of gear. But if you're looking for something to do pitch pedal, it's a really bonkers, like, interesting design. But again, it's not the sort of thing that I necessarily am going to be using going forward. So if you were looking for one of those and thinking, yeah, that's exactly what I need, then shoot me an email. I do also have the Gamechanger auto pedals, which are really interesting things. But yes, shoot me an email if any of those pedals you... Oh, and that's another thing. The Kernam Ridge. A really, really, really interesting pedal. And especially if you're looking for something on your board to do a bunch of things, and if you're into MIDI. I personally am not so much of a MIDI hound, but the Kernam Ridge, I think, a really, really solid pedal. Great drive tones in there. But again, I can't use all of this stuff all the time. So Kernam Ridge was one of those things that I thought, actually, someone out there might get some use out of that for sure. So that about wraps it up. If there was any of those things that you thought, yes, I've been looking at that for a while and this is your opportunity, I guess. Yeah. If there's any other bits and pieces that you've seen demoed and you thought, I wonder if you still got that, feel free to shoot me an email or Instagram message. But yeah, I've got too much stuff and some of it's got to go. So cheers for stopping by, and yes, the gear purge continues. Equally, if you've ever like seen any guitars and bits and pieces that you think, I'd quite like to try that thing, I don't keep everything I demo. It's just not feasible any longer. Amps and stuff like that, if there's anything that you thought, I really like the sound of that, do feel free to send me a message. I will probably respond, and if you're in the UK especially, like, any of this stuff is up for grabs, just send me what you think you should pay and we'll talk about it. Cheers.